everybody, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. Here is your Monday's edition of Coast to Coast. I am, of course, joined here with Jay. How you doing, buddy?
I am honestly terrified.
I feel like I need more context.
I don't know what to do with my hands. There's no Pags here. There's no stat guy here. It's just you and me, Bo, and I don't know what to do with my damn self. It's a little nervous today.
It'll be fine. It'll look a lot like Wednesday.
Well, I was saying something looks awfully familiar here today.
I mean, and on Wednesday, we were talking about, we wrapped up the show starting to talk about quarterbacks, and you were trying to make a case for Jaden Daniels having the best rookie season.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't see it. So let me go ahead and kick us off. Why
would you see it, Bo? If you saw it, there'd be nothing to talk about. Come on.
So yeah,
no,
I mean, let us know how this happens.
Look, I'm playing law of averages. First of all, I figure if the Panthers screwed it up last year, it'll be Chicago this year. Somebody's always going to screw it up. Nobody ever gets it right. And I just think this is going to be another one of those, Bo, honestly, I think they just don't get it right. I wasn't sold on Caleb. Maybe you might have been sold on Caleb Williams. I don't know. I don't know if Tags was. I didn't get his feedback on it. I was just not really sold. The guy he's like the NBA's version of LaMelo Ball.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for the shoe to come out that I got to pay $500 for. And when that comes out, I know it has come full circle. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not sold on Caleb. Besides,
What are you sold on? The ability that Chicago can develop Caleb? I mean, what are you sold on here?
The Bears are definitely not a factor for me. The Bears, come on. Oh, we just have Bags today. Here. Hey, what's up, man?
Hey.
I am up. I am up today.
Hi.
I'm fresh off my stint at the Barefoot Festival, which is all country music.
Oh, okay.
And I am I ate a tomahawk steak. When you eat a tomahawk steak like a caveman, you are it makes you feel invincible.
Yeah. Kudos to those of y'all that can eat the whole tomahawk, man. That is one hell of a cut of meat. I do salute you on that.
Yep.
Without a doubt. I was not there. Obviously, there's that one area there was a lot of fat, and I was like, I apologize to everybody around me, but I bit it and I was like spitting it out. I'm like, I'm not eating all this fat.
Yeah.
And then I went to the trash can to spit that out because you don't want that to just spit in the. You don't want to think somebody to think that's something growing out of the sand.
Sure.
But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And country music, I know Jay is probably all into country music. I am not really a country music fan. However, the guy who I am friends with, he has a song that is called Go Birds. The song is about a Dallas Cowboys fan who is a female who falls in love with a Philadelphia Eagles fan, and she converts over.
Oh, God.
All of a sudden, Jake's burning this album.
Yeah, like the line goes, the Cowboys are sure going to miss her. She's looking better in green.
That has ruined my whole day, Pags. Thank you very much, Pags. Read between the lines, asshole.
Look at how beautiful it is here. This is Cape May, New Jersey. I was going to go try it at the beach,
you got a nice
but I didn't make it there yet.
I mean, you might as well plug your buddy's album. Like, you might as well.
So his name is Holden Barter, and I don't know the name of the album. He's probably got a couple of albums. He's a resident in Nashville, so he sings in Nashville. He wound up winning the Golden Boot Award for the Barefoot Festival, and because he's like the local talent, which means that he goes and plays the main stage next year, which means that next year the Philly sports guy is going to be on the main stage too, because he likes to include me in his act, which is amazing.
Nice. Like,
so, I'm not a country music fan much, but he's such a talent, and you know what? Real talent, shows. You know what I mean? That shows automatically, and the fact that like he's making me a fan of country music, which is cool.
Absolutely.
That is kind of cool, or not kind of cool. Depends on if you like country music or not.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm a rock fan. I like classic rock.
Yeah,
so I like
I'm more of a rock guy too. But I can ride the fine line of country and rock. Depends on who the country artist is, right? Hi, speaking of shows, Capiche, Growing Up Italian is this show. It's going to be coming up pretty soon. I'd like for you to get up. It's just a couple of guys talking about what it was like growing up Italian. I thought you'd have a lot of fun with that.
Capiche?
Capiche.
That's capiche. Yeah, I know exactly what that means. Do you understand? Yes.
Yeah.
That's so. Yeah, I growing up Italian. That's why I yell, because in a lot of ways, it's not a matter of being right or not. It's being the loudest.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a very true statement, though. That is very, very true.
People wonder.
I thought you'd have a lot of fun on there. There's another guy named Gio Gupp out of New York. He's going to go in there and talk food. So you also have a good time. It should be a lot of fun from an Italian.
Listen, I'm game. I'll have to check it out. So
good deal.
Yeah. So basically what we were opening it up with here is Jay was thinking that Jaden Daniels is going to have the best rookie season of the quarterbacks coming out. And so anyway, we just started down that path. I'm interested to hear why he thinks that.
Well, I think he's just a little bit more of a complete guy. He's a little bit more of a humble guy. I think that's what I don't like about Caleb Williams. I feel like he's so hyped up on himself that I wonder if he's really worth all of that in a bag of chips that he says he is. I think Jade is just a little more down to earth. I think I've seen what he can do on the field. You guys have seen what he can do on the field. And I think it's a good fit for him down there in Wisconsin and Washington. So
you don't even know where he plays.
I know. I apologize. I mean, unless you think Eberflus is just going to do magical wonders with Caleb Williams in his career. So
I mean, you do realize there's other rookies coming out, right? It's not just these two guys.
I understand. You got Penix coming out too. Absolutely. And Penix, absolutely. I was just talking between these two specific guys. Penix is gonna. He should be poised for a good. Well, let's put it this way: if Penix is having a good season, that means what's his name wasn't. So one of the experiments is going to have to go bad.
Well, I mean, for Penix to have a good season, it means he has to start. So
I'm just saying one of them had to go bad, right? I mean,
is there any way that the general manager of the Falcons retains his job?
I mean, only with a playoff appearance, right? You win your division, you get into the playoff
appearance using both quarterbacks because one happened to get hurt more frequently. That they have somewhere between 10 and 6 games, respectively, because of injuries and stuff like that. And that he's like, because I mean, ultimately, there should be no way that this guy keeps his job.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think it has to be a scenario where Penix maybe starts the first couple because Cousins isn't ready. Cousins comes in, does what he does, gets injured. Penix comes back in and finishes strong. They get a playoff berth. I can see you keeping your GM role in that scenario because then both your moves paid off. Outside of that, man, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and that's such a what if? Yeah. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand how he's going to be able to keep his job. I don't think he will. I think that ultimately you're going to find that the general manager's position in Atlanta Although Arthur Dent is not a very good guy. You know what I mean? Like, not even mean that, but he's not a very.
He's not a fast mover.
He's a very smart businessman,
Yes.
but he's not a smart football man.
Sure.
And that's the difference. Like, he's Home Depot, right? Arthur Dent's Home Depot.
Exactly.
It's Arthur Blank. Yeah, Arthur Blank. Yeah, he's
Blank,
all
not Dent.
Yeah.
I was saying Arthur Dent. Arthur Dent is the guy in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So,
But no, you're right. I mean, Arthur Blank, he was very good at promoting a product without there actually being a product on the shelf to support. If you know the history of Home Depot, he put a bunch of empty boxes up there to make the store look full, but he really didn't have a full store. That's how he got started. But yeah, smart guy. Really, really super smart guy. But maybe it doesn't always translate to sports, but yeah.
Well, that's exactly it. It's like when you're hiring people for a corporate position in a warehouse, because ultimately that's what Home Depot is. It's a big warehouse that sells directly to the public.
Yeah.
So, well, when you're doing it for that, the different things that you have going for you with that in comparison to what you have going for you, for football, it just requires a whole different set of skills.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at some level, you go out, you get Cousins because you don't think your guys are going to be there. That's all I can figure is they thought all the guys were going to be gone. And then Penix gets to him and they're like, you know what? That's our guy. We're going to go get him anyway. That's all I can figure because I can't imagine that you deliberately do what they did.
Well, I don't know. Maybe, I don't know because that's the hard part here that they have not said even the slightest bit.
Yeah. No, because if Penix was your guy and you were going to do everything you could to go get the guy, then you don't get Cousins. You get a Drew Lock. You get a Sam Darnold. You get a placekeeper for that transition period. You don't spend $100 million on a guy. But if you like a guy, but you're not going to go get him, and you're drafting where they were, and you really don't think he's going to be there, then you go get a quarterback you think you can win with, and then if he falls to you, you still have to take him. That's kind of how I view how it went down instead of just utter incompetence.
Well, I don't necessarily call it incompetence. What I do call incompetence is if you are planning on having any of that in your plan. Like if you are planning on possibly drafting a quarterback, why give Cousins all that guaranteed money?
Well, I think it was the only way they could go get him. Because the Vikings gave him a very similar deal, but they told him up front they were going to draft his replacement, and he wasn't excited about that. So he went there. Ultimately, they did the same thing. So, I don't know how excited he is, but
yeah, about to say that's exactly what they just.
Yeah, no, exactly. But the big part of why he left is because the Vikings were upfront about the fact, hey, we're drafting a quarterback regardless. But it sounds like the money was very similar. So that's where I think Atlanta sort of did him dirty in this way because you could tell he was led to believe that he was going to be the guy moving forward.
Well, and as of right now, he's still going to be the guy.
Potentially, if he's ready for week one.
There is a scenario. If you listen to all the pundits, you listen to all the pundits that said that Penix was a work in progress anyways.
Sure.
That he needed more tooling before he was able to be a starting quarterback. So in theory, he did kind of everything he was supposed to do in the first place.
No, and I agree with that. Like, I don't think any of the quarterbacks coming out are week one starters. Like, I don't really see that out of any of them. So I like Penix in the way that he throws the best ball out of everybody that came out, but I don't think he is the most polished necessarily, but he definitely throws the best ball.
He's also the oldest, right? He's the oldest by a couple of years.
Him and Bo Nix, I think, are pretty close in age, but
he's not exactly the most mobile quarterback out there, so you really have to really do a good job of giving him time to pass.
Well, he's not immobile. He's not a guy that's gonna go gash you for 30 yards if he scrambles.
Right.
He's that Geno Smith type of runner. Like, he can extend a play. He can go get you a first down. He's just not
I
gonna.
just think with all those knee injuries he's had, and stuff, it's gonna be rough on him his first go of it.
I mean, you watched him extend plays last year.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
There was only one game that I watched him do that, though.
Yeah, I mean, he was able to do it. They don't ask him to do it a lot because he had a nice receiving core. But, I mean, he's still capable of doing it. I mean, I would rather have a guy that's capable of it that doesn't have to than a guy like Caleb, who better be ready to run because the interior of that offensive line still isn't good.
Right. Well, no, I mean that's a lot. That's a lot to be said. You're right over there. I mean that offensive line is I don't envy it at all, and I hope he's ready for it. I hope he's ready for all that he's asking for.
Well, listen, I think all of the rookie quarterbacks are in that same boat. They're going to get exactly what is coming to them. And that's going to be a welcoming to the NFL.
No, I mean, that's always the case.
Caleb is just taking that and throwing kerosene on top of a very well-lit fire.
Yeah. And it's funny because although we have this list of rookies that are going to come out, most are probably going to start. I still kind of look at Will Levis and Anthony Richardson as rookies. I mean, Richardson obviously was hurt almost immediately. So this is kind of really is his rookie season. And Will Levis, he played 5 games, something like that. So, I mean, I'm curious what those guys are going to look like. Obviously, Levis, I don't have a lot of faith in that team's going to.
I don't have a lot of faith in Levis at all.
No, but the Colts could be interesting.
Yeah, Colts, absolutely.
Yeah, I think the Colts fall back a little bit. I think the only thing that they've got going for them at the Colts is Steichen. And not for anything. I hope that he succeeds. But the truth of the matter is that I would have loved to have him back as our offensive coordinator here in Philadelphia. Sure. I think that he's an amazing offensive coordinator. And I think that in the midst of everything, you're going to start to see coordinator fees go up. I think that you are going to start to see a renaissance of coaches that start to get paid a tremendous amount more. And you're going to see coordinators start to get paid where coaches used to get paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I think that you also are going to see, the one thing that you could absolutely understand is coaching staffs should be massive. There should be 70. I was just looking at, because I have a house full of people here. There was somebody new that I didn't. So, but we have a couple of infirm people with us, like grandparents and stuff. So we have a nurse in. So I just happened to look over and I'm like, who is that? Why can't I understand their silhouette? But it was a nurse. So
I gotcha.
Awesome. Thank you. As I'll get ready to go to the beach here shortly.
Nice.
Right after the show.
Yep. Now we got some soggy weather in our forecast, but fortunately for us, we went over and played in the river over the weekend. So we headed over to Eastern Washington where it was mid-90s, hung out on the Columbia River. So
yeah, I lucked out yesterday that it was supposed to be somewhere in the neighborhood of about 96 to 98 degrees, but it was very, very breezy as a front was moving in, but never hit us. So it didn't interfere. There was no rain, but it got cold enough that I had to actually buy I wanted to buy a sweatshirt. They ran out of sweatshirts. So I bought myself a denim jacket.
Wow. All right. Hope it wasn't washed. Really sell it.
Yes. Don't sell it too hard over there.
Hey, listen, when was the last time you owned a denim jacket?
I cannot even remember.
I actually don't know that I ever owned a denim jacket.
I think Bo owned a denim jacket. He just bought it and never.
Yeah,
wore it.
because you're more millennial, Bo. You're a
Yeah,
little bit more
One.
millennial.
I think Bo got it as a gift and then put it in the back of the closet, so I'll never see this
No,
again.
you know, it would. I liked the I liked the starter jackets more, and like the track jackets. I was never really a denim jacket guy, or like a bomber jacket.
That's why you're a millennium. That's why you're a millennium. All that stuff. Millennium, Gen X, Gen B. Take all the letters in the alphabet.
How many beers have you had? What are you talking about?
You can't call it all day drinking unless you start in the morning.
Right?
I think you got that medication needs to get tweaked just a little bit on the downside.
I mean, do you even know what decade we're in currently? Like,
Listen, there are so I said to say that there's so many letters and numbers and all this generation and stuff. I can't keep track of it all. It's out there. It's craziness. Elon Musk has got some kind of weird child's name. It doesn't even look like a name. It looks like some kind of like Roman numeral cereal set. It's weird.
And there you have it.
I got nothing for that. Now, so as a 81 kid, we seem to miss all of the generations. Like there's this like 2-year we don't watch you area that I happen to live in.
So actually, that was considered Gen Y. So
Exactly.
Gen X and Gen Y got all thrown into Gen X.
Exactly.
So so you are the Gen Y group.
Exactly.
Because you in 81, you would have just been turning 20 when we were having the Y2K scare.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
Exactly, Rob. I want what Jay's having. Exactly.
And we can't do that because we haven't got the sponsor yet, so we have to hold off. We can get a sponsor though.
Modelo's, and I have not had this reaction to them. Oh man. So, Pag, since you're on, the NHL Stanley Cup
comes down to tonight.
Man,
I could have thought I would have sworn that Florida would have put up a better play. It's surprising. Obviously, it was not Connor McDavid that was able to pull to do it last game. So they did what they needed to do with him. They just have not, they weren't able to stop anybody else. This is going to be an issue. This is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And it's going to be an interesting game tonight. It's something that I want to watch because it's going to be a tough game tonight, a very tough game tonight, all across the board.
No, I'm looking forward to the game.
Oh yeah,
this thing's going to be a battle, especially because when you look at the last ones, the Oilers been putting up points, right? Like it's not like we're squeaking out wins. Like they've been throwing goals in.
Well, I mean, they had 2 empty net goals. This is where I feel that coaching in the NHL has changed over the last 4 years, 5 years about pulling the goalie early now. And I'm not a fan of that. I think that you still should pull the goalie under 2 minutes. You pull the goalie with 3 minutes. We're down by 2. Truth of the matter is that that makes it a shooting gallery.
Yep.
From 180 feet away.
Exactly.
So if they get it right, they score a goal that really shouldn't have counted in the first place, and
it ices the game.
Right. So that's where I don't like that. I just don't like it at all. You know what I mean? I would rather them wait till like 2 minutes and 90 seconds left to actually start the push, because that's when everybody starts to get a little tighter.
Yeah.
At 3 minutes, you're not tight yet. So, and it shows a lack of confidence in your guys.
Yeah.
When you pull it that early, like it's almost like, hey, listen, we need to get every ounce we can, and then they just throw it down. They try to ice the puck, and they ice the puck in the net, and that's the end of the game.
Exactly.
So, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. It will be an epic collapse if Edmonton wins this. I still am kind of hoping that Edmonton does not do it, but this is going to be a very fun game. It's going to be a very fun game to watch, and I hope it's good hockey. And I would love to see it go to overtime. I would love to see it go to overtime.
Oh, absolutely.
There's nothing better. There is nothing better than overtime hockey in the playoffs. Yeah. And for everything to be able to lift the cup in a game 7, like that's where literally you are on the edge of your seat the entire time, going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and goalies come up with ridiculous saves, and things happen that are just you know what I mean? So, and then I get to witness all of that firsthand on Thursday when I go to Vegas for the draft.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, and the Flyers figure into the Stanley Cup game on their draft pick because they have Florida's draft pick. Mm. So it'll be either be 31 or 32. Yep. So it'll be interesting to kind of see this. I'm excited for the game.
No, if Florida loses, then we'd be doing better state.
Well, if Florida loses, it's going to be kind of crazy because there's some droughts that come to an end if they do. Obviously, Canada gets a Stanley Cup for the first time in 31 years, but it'll also be the first time somebody came back from a 3-0 deficit to win in like 84 years.
Yeah, 84 years. There have been a number of teams that came back 3-0 and won. The Flyers did it in 2010 in the conference finals against Boston.
I was saying in the championship games.
Yeah, the last team to do that was Toronto, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that was the last cup they won.
Yep.
They came back 3-0 to win. So really, that's the problem with Toronto is that they should have lost that one too.
Yes.
But at that time, there was only 6 teams in the mix. You know what I mean? That was the original 6.
Well, by the way, we fully support our Canadian viewership on this show. Canadian.
Yeah, I think Canada will burn down if they win.
If they win? Oh yeah.
Yeah. It'll absolutely catch on fire.
Win or lose at this point, it might still happen.
Agreed. Agreed. And how about you know what? So now I'm actually starting to watch the Mariners.
Okay.
And pay attention. And when they win, they win. When they lose, they lose.
Yeah, when they lose big.
But when they win big now.
Yeah.
Like there's been games like 8-0. 8-0 has been like a trend for them.
Yeah.
They've been scoring 8 runs a lot lately.
Yep.
So
I didn't go on a losing trend because I'm 6 games back and I really need to hit the old plunger there to get going.
Well,
you guys are going to start that after. You guys are going to start that after the All-Star break. So you guys got a couple more weeks yet before you guys get moving.
Yeah.
And I think that after the All-Star break, you guys are going to wind up making some type of trade that's going to be worthwhile.
Yeah.
I don't have the confidence right now in the back of my pitching staff. So I want a closer. However, they are talking a lot about an outfielder. And from what I understand, and I have heard this through a very unique grapevine, is that there may be a very large infusion in the outfield that could be coming to Philadelphia.
Interesting.
Now, I won't say any more about it because it's literally a rumor that I was told to keep quiet about. Okay. But it's somebody it would be somebody that would make everybody in Major League Baseball go, wow.
Okay. All right.
So
okay, now big things according to Pags.
So I know that they've been looking at outfielders and they're looking at a couple, but like I said, this one outfielder would be the wow factor.
Yeah,
So
and
we'll
I hope this is true that the Mariners are buyers. And yeah, it was a tough series loss, especially the way they lost. But you know, they got a little bit of a lead here. So, and I really hope that Houston, you know, shits the bed.
Hoops in the pillowcase.
That's right. Yep.
Man, yeah.
So
Well,
I fully believe that you're going to see. I think that it's starting to take shape, and obviously, Seattle is doing well enough now that it's also, if they were to get overtaken and play at around 550, you know, like over 500, but not crazy over 500, that
Yep.
they could wind up in a wild card spot even if they lose the division.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So that's kind of what I look at when I see these types of things right now. It's obviously still too early,
Yep.
but I have two teams in the East right now that are coming on pretty strong. You know, I have the Mets that have won 8 of 10. I have the Braves, who I thought were cooked, have also won 8 of 10.
Yeah.
Now, these teams are both playing the teams that the Phillies are playing early. So the Phillies need to just keep winning series. But I think that when they play good teams on the road, they're going to need to at least take one of the games. As long as they don't get swept, they should be good. And I think that that we're too far ahead right now. Have I seen epic collapses? Yes. I don't think this team is set for that.
Yeah, I think you have too many pieces to just fall off. Do I think you can cool off? Sure. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But do I think you just like tank from here out? There's too many good pieces on that team for that.
Agreed. And way too good at starting pitching.
Yeah.
It's the starting pitching that really makes me happy. I mean, because obviously we are underutilizing our bullpen, which makes our bullpen great. Mm-hmm. So if we continue to do that, that's going to be awesome. If we start to fail on that part, it becomes more of an issue.
Yeah.
But as we're at the bottom of the hour, we should probably do the station identification.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Right on. Well, for our first one here, we will talk about True Fusion Gym. And of course, if you use the QR code on the screen, you get a free 5-day pass at any of the 3 locations, whether it's Bellevue, Ballard, or their brand new one in University Village. So go check them out. Pilates boot camp, yoga bar, all of that. Find your edge at True Fusion Gym. Be sure to use that QR code. And of course, our local AFL team pulls out a win, last second touchdown, 47-46. And if you're in the Seattle area, you can get your final chance to see them for this season if you go to Ticketmaster and put in why am I mind blanking? Pack 50. You get 50% off the ticket price, and I'll be there for that. So come out, say hi, watch the game, and watch your final game of the AFL season. All right.
Will they make the playoffs?
They will not. That was just their second win of the season. They are off to a rough start. But, the big thing
it was your talk. It was your talk that propelled them to the win.
That's right. Pushed them over the top.
I know they were 1-6. Now they're 2-6.
That's right.
So
heading into a home game.
The only thing that's changed since then is that you said, hey, listen, you guys are better than this.
That's
I know it. You just don't know it. Let's do it.
Let's get out there and go. Yeah. So no, so it should be a fun experience, and of course it's the final game, so you definitely want to pack the place out, give them all the mojo you can. So
there you go.
So what do you think of JJ Redick actually getting the coaching job? You think that's going to do anything for that team, or you think that's just going to be a dark blemish on his career?
So I personally, I'm going to take the lead on this one, Jay. I personally believe that LeBron is going to disappear and go somewhere else, and he's going to wind up going to wherever his son goes, and his son is going to get drafted. And ultimately, it's not going to matter. JJ Redick is going to wind up coaching a Lakers team. And I think that he's got the mentality and the personality to run a team that is sans LeBron.
Okay.
I also believe that AD will remain a lot healthier with
Really?
no LeBron. Yes. I
What?
think with no LeBron, he will actually remain healthier.
Really? I mean, we haven't seen that any other time in his career.
Right, but he's been with LeBron a lot.
Well, I mean, the last few years, sure, but I mean, before he got there, he wasn't really the pinnacle of healthiness either.
No, but he was playing 60-some games.
Yeah.
Now he's playing 30-some games. Listen, this is the way, that centers play now. Centers play 60 games a year.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. Yeah, you're going to only get 60 games. You got Wembanyama, who's going to maybe play. That's why they said 65 games, because they see that basketball sees the trend too. They see that you need to have at least 65 games because that 5 games are going to make a difference.
Well, and you have to have 65 games if you want to win any awards.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So they're going to make these guys play at least 65. True, the number is that they should have been playing 60. You need to play at least 3/4 of the league. 61 games is where it should be, because there's 82 games in the season. So you should have been at 61 games so that you have at least 80% of the games. To do it at 65 puts it at like 83 or 84%. It's ridiculous. So realistically, but they see that these centers and that there are some players that are just not healthy enough.
Sure.
And they're paying older players now these ridiculous amounts of money, and they get hurt, and these teams are on the hook for it. So, interestingly enough, they don't do the same thing in basketball as they do in hockey. So when you get hurt in hockey, you come off of the salary cap. So that's how the last few cups were won. This year is a different story. Actually, some talent is actually winning these games.
Yeah.
Not that talent won, didn't win the other games. It was just that an abundance of talent because you kept them out all season long. So they were fresh, and they came in, and all of a sudden they're like, yeah, we're going to win.
So basically, the Lakers are playing for the in-season tournament. They're trying to go back
to
back.
That's
call it a year.
That's all in-season tournament, and you're done for the rest of the season. We don't want you getting hurt.
Are we going to have another in-season tournament?
Yeah, I believe it's going to be an annual thing now. It's their gimmick to get people to play. It's weird.
It just sounds like a horse poo-poo.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of it at all.
No.
And I think that, and realistically, I know that they're trying to do something so that the finals would be on Christmas.
Oh yeah,
but it's I don't know. I don't know that works either. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of it. I know they do it in other sports, like it's a big thing in soccer, but for basketball, I mean, the amount of money these guys are getting paid, I don't feel like you need a gimmick item for them to play. I think they should just have to play.
Well, think about it. In California, the $500,000 that they received after taxes came out to, and everybody else got paid, is like $176,000.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not even a ridiculous amount of money. But
no,
it is going out.
They raised a banner. It was super cool.
And they had those ridiculous looking courts.
Yes.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, it was their version of the City Connect jerseys. Is really what it was.
Yeah. And it looked ridiculous as far as I was concerned. But who am I? Who am I to say? Because I am not Adam Silver. I think there's just better ways of doing things. I think there really is.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think the changing it so that the awards can't be handed to you if you play too few games, I think that's more effective than the in-season tournament thing.
Yeah, I mean, I see that. I don't know that either way. That it's going to be like I just don't like it. I don't like it at all. You know what I mean? Because if you don't care, you don't care, and you mark those games down as losses because ultimately the two semifinals and final play 2 extra games for that year.
Yeah.
I don't know. So
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of truth in that, though.
exactly. So I got to ask, Jay, is what medication is doing this? I'll be honest, Jay. I mean, I've seen you drunk. This isn't drunk. So is it a certain medication that you got it affects?
Yeah, it's just this one.
Got you. All right. I just wanted to know. I just want you to know that it shows a little bit.
Yeah, it might show a little bit. Hey, look, I'm still getting used to a lot of my new life. Apparently, I've got these knee medications. I've got, I don't know, you name it, I've got it.
I would like you to show the doctor this video.
No question.
I really would because listen, I know that they've got you on a lot of different stuff right now, and I think that it's important for them to be able to see. Dealing with family right now who deals with a lot of different medications as well, and I understand this. I think the doctor should see this. You know what I mean? Just because I think it'll help him determine what may be causing it and help you not do that. You know what I mean? Like I think, or at least tweak it so that you are.
The functionality.
I want you to be better. I want you to be better, Jay. I love having you on the show.
I'm a shell of a human being.
No. You're not a shell.
No.
You are definitely there.
You can just tell that you're pretty hammered.
Yeah, and I'm looking out for you, Jay. I love you. You know, and so that's all I'm doing.
No, I do. No, I appreciate it. I do.
So, but I get it. You know what I mean? It's like, especially, when the doctor gives me some good drugs, I like to take them. But
well, and they work better with alcohol, so it makes sense.
Make you feel all right. Is it Motley Crue sing that, Dr.
That is Motley Crue. That is absolutely Motley Crue.
Oh man!
But so, anyways, that all.
Hey, is it true that
did you guys? Hold on. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, do you think it's true? Do you think the Astros are making a comeback, or am I just setting myself up for disaster?
I think that they have too good a talent on that team, and you're going to start seeing guys that get hot a little bit. I think that they need to make a trade after the All-Star break, and that's going to propel them a little bit. I think there's a little bit of pie in the sky. There's a little bit of wishing in that, but I think that they do make a trade. They do become buyers because I don't think that they know how to be sellers yet.
Right.
I think next year they're sellers.
They're too close to the division lead to be selling anyway. Like if they were 10 games back, I think they would be more on that seller market. But they were within 6 now. I can't imagine they throw it in at that point. Like if you were down there with the Angels or something, sure. But where you currently are, I can't imagine you're sellers yet. Unless the wheels fall off, and then hey.
But did you guys watch the game last night at all?
No.
Sky versus.
I saw the highlights. It looked like a great game, actually.
How about Angel Reese come into play?
Yeah, her stat line was fantastic.
Yeah, she did something that's only like 4 other players have ever done in the WNBA, which I thought that had to be a game where she did excel.
Yeah.
You know, and You know what? You know what would be really awesome, and it's a shame that it won't happen. That put the two of them together on an Olympic team.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I mean,
Have them both play for Team Italy.
yeah.
Now, I know Angel Reese won't do it.
yeah, I
But-
could see them both making the Olympic team next time through.
Yeah, because well, correct me if I'm wrong though, but isn't Caitlin Clark? She's on the Team Canada, right? I thought she
No, there was just speculation. I haven't seen her actually land
okay.
anywhere.
So it's just
Yeah,
speculation.
I thought that it was. I still think it's going to be Italy, but I hope that's just me hoping. That's wishful thinking. But Angel, like I said, she did play a really good game.
Yep.
It was not as banging. You know, like they weren't beating each other up this game. So this was actually a good testament of how they played, and she came to play, which I think is only good for her, because ultimately all the talking she's done, she's got to eventually start to back it up some, and she did a little bit, which is nice. I'm not rooting for her. I just.
Yeah. Well, and it's not like she's had a bad season overall. Like, of the rookies, she was the first one to get to 100 points and 100 rebounds, right? So I mean, there's benchmarks she's hitting. She doesn't have the flash that Caitlin Clark has, right? Like, she's not nailing stuff from half court, things like that. I mean, she doesn't have that element to her game. So it actually makes the stat line last night a little bit more impressive, because her points come down low. Right, she's down mid range, hitting those shots. I mean, when from the highlights I was watching, they were down. I think they were down 15 at one time.
15 points. 15 points.
And she brought her team back from that. And when you figure she has to do all of that from mid range and down low, you know, if you hear Caitlin Clark, oh, she brought her team back from 15, you're like, okay, she probably drained like 3 threes in a row, and you know, they got on a run or whatever. But if you're down below, having to work for them all,
she's closer to the paint. She's in the paint.
Right.
Yeah,
sure.
She was driving and things like that. She actually had a really good game. She was making certain shots that she doesn't typically make. So that's really why she had the stat line that she did. Which was, again, good for her. Like I said,
for sure.
It was a good game. It was a great game. I wonder what the numbers were for that. We'll find that out in a couple days. If there were more people watching that game than there were the previous game, where it was 2.25 million. I think because it was on a Sunday, it's likely that there may have been more.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and it was in Chicago. So I think that's there's possible that they could have hit like 3 or 3.5 million people watching, which would have been a big deal.
No, that'd be impressive. Absolutely.
But I definitely watched a little bit of it, and then I saw the highlights of what was going on with that. So it was like good on them. I think that I will say that watching Caitlin Clark shoot from half court, no. Like, what are you doing, Caitlin? You got to work the ball a little bit better. I understand there ain't nobody guarding you there, and you can go ahead and throw it up. And if you make 1 out of every 4, you're doing great. But realistically, what happens is when you miss those shots, there's long rebounds. So you don't even let your people that are underneath the basket be able to get that. It's likely that it's a defensive rebound going the opposite direction, almost in transition because of how long the rebound is. So you got to start to work closer to the line. You can't be.
I think that what was really kind of a killer is when you were watching parts of that game, a lot of her teammates just had hands of stone. Like, they had passes that hit them in the hands and they didn't catch them, ends up a turnover. Because I think this game could have been quite a bit different. And then you have a weird coaching situation where at the end of the game, last 2 possessions, you're only down by 2. You don't get it in Clark's hands. Now, sometimes, you have to get away from your star because your star is going to be double covered or whatever. I get that. but they usually at least touch the ball because it's not like it's 2 seconds left and you just got to get it to a person and throw it up. Like these were legitimate possessions. You're down by 2 and you don't have your star touch it. Seems like a coaching miss. Now, maybe they don't put the shot up, but they should at least be involved in the play.
Yeah.
I agree. So I think that it's ultimately, I believe that it's, I mean, obviously, neither one of these teams are going to make the playoffs of the WNBA. And it's kind of a shame because nobody will watch the playoffs. Nobody will care who the winner is.
Yeah, except for the teams that are in it, realistically, right? Like Seattle has a shot. They're sitting, in second place in the division there, but
that's what I was saying. To grow the sport, they really need the Caitlin Clarks and stuff to have their faces out there to get popularity and get people watching it and get the viewership up. I mean, they probably don't like that answer, but I mean that's what you need to grow your sport. And you're almost
you're going to wind up having Caitlin Clark as an analyst. That's where she's going to play. She's going to wind up being the in-game analyst, not in-game, but like halftime and pre and post game, and they're going to have her do it rather than have Angel Reese, because there's only ratings being considered for that. So,
I mean that's what it's going to come down to is how many people watched it.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
But I tell you, it's I don't think they play each other again till the end of the season, just about. So I know that they played 2 games, and that's the 3rd time they played each other. So I think they play each other only 4 times this season.
I think you're right.
And I'm not in tune with that. So because the WNBA is only 48 games, right?
It's a short.
They don't play 82. Yeah. So I mean, it's my thought is that they'll be just fine. It's just like they'll bring her here. The Olympics will give her a lot more exposure.
Yeah, let's see. Trying to see if they play them. So they play them in August. Yep. Yeah, they play them one more time.
Look at me knowing stuff about the WNBA.
Oh, that's it. Damn.
Yeah, because the season's over.
Yeah, it's not a very long season.
And that's even with a break for the Olympics.
Yeah. They don't play a very long season, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, not really. It's basically half the length of the men's.
Yeah.
But
so what, 40 games?
48.
Yeah.
48, okay.
So it's and I mean I guess they want to get it done because the playoffs are going to take some time. They want to get it done all before football season because football season cuts into them. I got to imagine the moment it starts.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, could you imagine the rating drop even for preseason football? I mean, it probably almost kills it if they're playing at the same time.
Right.
I mean, realistically, there's not any other sport. I mean, there's no sports that keep up with the NFL anyway. If you're playing in the same time slot, the NFL is going to dominate that time slot.
I mean, it's true, though. I mean, it's a good point.
So, and that's that, really. In the meantime,
so you might as well get to the beach, man. We're at the top of the hour.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. I'm like, I'm getting text messages saying, hey, bring this and bring that, bring this and bring that because we forgot it.
I can already see the copper tone coming down the side of your face. That's how hot it looks right now.
I'm already dark.
Yep.
But, yeah,
Awesome.
and I get to go to the beach where people say, "Hey, are you that guy?" Yeah, I'm that guy. Thank you.
I sure am.
Thank you for noticing. I appreciate it. But
Right on.
in the
Well, cool.
meantime,
Thanks for everybody tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. And of course, if you are on Roku, stay tuned for the next hour. Take it easy, everybody.
have a good one.